Well, hi, you guys. I am Denise with Artist at Heart. I am so happy to be here with you guys today. I've got multiple gadgets to show you and to play with, and I just wanted to give everybody a shout out. Say hi if you're watching. Chat with me, you guys, so I can see. So I will be following you along with your uh, messages on Amazon. I'm also streaming on other platforms, Facebook and YouTube. So if you guys are on a different platform other than Amazon, if you come over to Amazon, it's a little easier for you to see the products that I'll be using. And with one click, you can easily buy them on Amazon. So it's super fun. And again, I'm an artist, but I love to show you lots of different things that I have, just a lot of my favorite products. And today, one of the first things I'm going to focus on, and I actually have a discount code for this one. If you give me a second, I'm going to give you the discount code. Here we go. I'm going to put it on here so I don't forget. And it's also part of the stream on Amazon. So it's also connected to the product. So today, you guys, I'm going to unbox the watercolor brush pens. There's 48 colors, and then there's a few different sizes in here. This is created by Artistro, right? Artistro. What I thought was interesting when I opened it up, and I just opened it and started playing with them, is it comes with this, which is your color palette. Okay, so I thought that was really interesting, and I picked out a really pretty magenta to play with. But not only that, it gives you, so look at how pretty that is, the color and the number, and you can keep track of the markers on that. So that's what I thought was interesting. As well as on the back of the box, you could see all the different colors also. And again, you can see the tips of the brush. So I thought that was interesting. And it also came with, let's see if here it is, these little samples of watercolor paper. So I don't know if you guys know that watercolor paper is a thicker paper, almost like cardboard. So this is really nice that they gave me came in the box, 1, 2, 3, 5 pieces. Okay. Really nice. So this is good watercolor paper because see how thick it is and stiff. So that way it will absorb the water in the watercolor pen brush and give you a really nice look, as well as not warp the paper. So if you decided to use, let's just say, a really thin paper like Xerox copy paper, it's going to warp the paper. So I'm a certified art teacher, and lots of times we didn't have the money for nice watercolor paper. So we would practice on Xerox paper, right? But again, it's so thin that the water would make that paper warp. So this is, again, really nice. Great way for you guys to test out the markers, not only on the swatch of the colors, but you can do it on this as well. Okay, so I thought I would share with you some different ideas. Now, I want you guys to see that the markers have a clear top. All right, and you can see the color through the clear top. So I'm gonna see if I can find an orange. I wanted you to see how they come in the box. Okay, so this one is an orange. This is called carrot orange. How appropriate. No. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to put this box down. And watercolor paint, or these are brushes, watercolor brushes are going to give you a more transparent look. So transparent is see-through. So let's just say, so here's my little sample that came in here. I want to make sure you guys can see this. Okay. I'm just going to, it's so funny because let me back up a little because it looks a little bit, it might be the lighting, it looks a little bit yellow, but it's definitely a carrot orange. And you can see the texture of the watercolor paper too. There's a texture to it. So I'm going over it a few times. They also have in this box the brush pens where you can put the water in them and use that as well. So I'll do that in a little bit. I want you guys to see the texture. Can you see the texture of the watercolor paper? And then, can you tell what I'm making? So what's interesting is the tip of the marker. I'm going to hold it up like this. The tip looks like a regular marker, but it actually is a brush. Can you see the bristles? So as I press it down, I just want you guys to see the bristles. See the bristles? And I'll fix that. And it's really, you guys know that computers and the color are not exact. So this is definitely more of a carrot orange, where on my paper it looks more like a yellow orange, but in actuality, in person, it definitely looks like a carrot orange. So sometimes I don't care for the names of products, but this one is definitely a good name because it's definitely a carrot. I should have made a carrot. I'm making, can you tell what it is? I was making a pumpkin, but I could have made a carrot. So here's what I'm going to do, just so you guys can see what I'm going to do until I find the other one. So then you would just, of course, take the cap, make sure you cap it tightly so it doesn't dry out, especially if you're teaching kids, because kids don't always cap the stuff and then it gets dried out quickly. So let me show you what I wanted to do with this, since it is a watercolor marker. I thought it would be fun just to show you. Again, there's watercolor pens in here where you can add the water to them. So I'll do that once I come across it. But right now, I'm going to take a little bit of water. I just want to take a little bit of water and see what happens, because this is where I have the most fun experimenting with new products. So look at that. I'm going to add a little bit of water to that. Do you see how pretty that is? So all I did, now again, there's pens too that come in this kit where you can add the water to it. Now I'm doing like a brand new product unveiling here. So I'm experimenting for the first time with these. So as I come across them, I will bring that out. But again, I'm just taking a little bit of water and I'm adding it. And I'm showing you, you can take that watercolor that's on there that I just used the pen with, and I'm just watering it down on here. Is that pretty? So you have a little bit more control by using the pen than you would just regular watercolor paint. Let's find another fun color. So of course, you guys, watercolor, non-toxic, great for all ages. The most important thing I would say with this is that you want to make sure that you cap it tightly. This is for ages 3 and older, right? Especially with the little lids. You just want to be careful with the little lids. You don't want kids to get a hold. This is a pretty color. That's a nice yellow. Let's find another orange. So you guys can see on the back, there's a lot of different oranges. Oh, there's a pumpkin orange. Look at that. I'll see if I can find the pumpkin orange. So again, I just wanted to do it right out of the box. Now, let's see this. Pumpkin! Yay, pumpkin orange. All right, let's test it out and see. So I like to blend colors. Again, it's really fun to experiment. So let's take some pumpkin orange, okay? And let's put it in here. So the pumpkin orange, so this one was the carrot orange, and now I'm going into the pumpkin orange. So the pumpkin orange is definitely brighter. And you know what I'm going to do, just so you can see it better? I'm going to go around the outside here. So again, what's happening is it's a point, but this point is also a brush. So it has bristles and the bristles spread. I want you to see the difference between the pumpkin and the carrot. And those are the colors of these oranges that I'm using, which are really, really pretty. Very pretty color, right? I can put a little in here too. I can make it go off the edge. And I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. This one's called, oh, I just used that one, carrot orange. This one's called So again, it's got a clear lid. Pull it off. It's got a point. It looks like a regular marker, but it actually is a brush. I'm just going to put a little bit of that yellow in there. It's called apricot. Okay. So look, when I press it down, you can see the little bristles on the brush. And I'm just going to take a little bit of water because it's watercolor pens, right? I'm just going to take a little bit of water and blend it together. When I get too close to the camera, the lighting is a little bit off. You see that? So I like the texture of the pumpkin. I like to see that. So you can see it looks, I'm going to go back a little bit so you can get a true sense of the color. And then I'm going to put a stem on it. Okay, so let's give it a little stem. You can use a brown for a stem. You can use a green for a stem. You can mix them together. Look at all these colors, you guys. And these are 20% off today. Really, really pretty fall colors too. But look at all the different oranges and browns and greens. So you have a variety there, right? You have a variety of choices. So that's why it's really good to look at the chart or do your own experiment, right? I'm going to hide that so you can see this better. So look at the chart and then you can mix. Let's see. Okay, here's a green. So this is light green. So let's try some light green. Now I want to show you guys. So look at the watercolor paper. This is what I'm talking about. What happens because the brushes have water in them, and I'm adding water to it because I wanted to see what would happen and to blend it. It still is not bubbly. It's just has a slight little curve to it. How you would prevent that, you guys can tape down your paper if you want to. You could like put some masking tape on the edge and tape it down as you're creating. Or don't add what, like if you were using the water pen that comes with this, I'll use it as soon as I find it. So here's my stem. I can even bring my stem down into my pumpkin a little bit. So this is definitely more of a, I would call that a cartoony green, right? It's called light green, but it's definitely not a realistic stem green. I would say pumpkin stems are probably a little bit more brown, more of where I combined it here, right? So where I overlapped the green and orange, that's really like probably what it looks like, the real color of a stem. Have you guys purchased your pumpkins yet? Anybody have pumpkins out yet? All right, so that one was the light green. Let's try another green. What do you think? How about lime green? Okay, that's not going to be realistic. But that's okay. We could do a cartoony pumpkin. I do have pumpkins out, but they're not real. I have my decor out. I could not wait till September 1st to put out my fall decor. I'm very sad that summer's over, but I love fall colors and fall decorations. So this is the lime green. And again, I want you guys to see the bristle. So it looks like a solid point, right? It looks like a solid point, but it's actually a bristle. They're fine little, let's call them hairs. Okay, I'm going to cap this one back up. Let's find another one. I'm just going to check to see how you guys are doing. I don't know what the weather's like where you are today, but you guys, yesterday was like 80. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. Yesterday was 80 degrees and today it's 60 degrees. So I say, okay, I like the fall weather, but really, I like summer the best. What's your favorite? What's your favorite season? All right, so let's keep going. Let's find another color. How about, ooh, this is a good green. Look at this one. This is mint green. Okay, mint green. Look at that cool green. Let's say. So it's softer. Do you see that? It's like a softer green. I'm just experimenting here so you guys can see. All right, so mint green is a much lighter, softer color, not so neon or like lime green was. I'm looking for, I want to do a more, it's like turquoise. I'm looking for like a deeper green. Oh, look at this. All right, you guys. So I was telling you the water brushes. So here's one of those pens. So this is a pen. So again, you have these watercolor brush pens, right? So you also get two of these. And again, I want you to look at the tip of this. So the tip is, it looks like a regular marker tip, but it's actually little bristles. See that? Little bristles. And that's where your watercolor paint comes out of. Now you also get two of these. So this is, you would fill this up with water, which of course I didn't do ahead of time because I was just experimenting. I'm like, I just got these. Let's experiment together. All right. So kids probably couldn't get this off because I can't get it off. All right. So I'm just letting you know I cannot, and maybe I'm doing it wrong. And God forbid I read the directions. I can't get the lid off of this. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to stick to my cup because I'm going to stick to what I know. Two of these. Oh, wait, maybe I unscrew it here. Anyway, I'm going to put the cap back on. We'll figure it out later. Okay. So I'm not using those. I'm using just my little red cup with a paintbrush. Where'd my pumpkin go? And I'm going to add a little bit of water to my stem and just mix those greens up. See that? Blend them in there. Now, how about, I'm still looking, I want a darker color. Let's see. Let's find it. I'm looking for, ooh, here's a good one. All right, I'm going to put this box here so you guys can see it. This is emerald. Emerald. Ooh, emerald. I always, whenever I hear emerald, I think of Wizard of Oz and the castle. Look at that. So I was looking for a darker green, and that would be it, right? So you could put some veins in there. So watercolor pens bleed, right? So that little fuzzy edge kind of fuzzed out because it's wet. So that's called bleeding, and I like that look. If I didn't add water to it, it wouldn't have done that. All right, my stem's getting bigger and bigger because I keep experimenting with all these greens. All right, maybe I'll start another one. Okay. So you guys, here, let's try this. So this is the emerald green. Let's do, so I'm using that brush tip, and probably on camera it looks black, but it's a beautiful deep green. I'm not going to tell you what I'm making. You're going to have to guess. So that was the emerald. I'm going to try a bunch of these. And this is the lime green. So it definitely does not work exactly like a regular marker because the tip does not stay stiff, right? Because it's all these little bristles. So it flares out. That's the only way I could explain it. Can you tell what I'm making? I'm not telling until later. You gotta guess. Guess. All right, so again, I'm just gonna make it go off the edge. You can see the texture of the watercolor paper. I'm gonna put a little bit of apricot in there. Now, do you know what it is? I get a bad glare from the light, so I'm gonna tilt it a little bit. What other colors? How about, let's put some pumpkin in there. I'm not telling you yet what it is. And again, make sure you cap it tightly. Put a little yellow in there, a little golden color. All right, now I'm gonna add a little bit of water to it and we'll see what happens. All right, what did I do with my brush? Let's get a little bit of water, see what happens. So I'm just mixing it together. So that's called bleeding in watercolor. Again, when you let it blur together like that, can you see that? That's called bleeding. And I'm gonna cover up all the white. All right, my last thing I'm gonna do, you guys, you ready? Let's see. I was gonna do something different. Let me see if I have it over here. All right, here we go. So there's my brush, watercolor brush pens. And now I'm gonna do this. Now, do you know what it is? Yes, it's a tree, you guys. It's a tree. So the trees are just starting to change colors here, right? You can even use the brown. Let's see if I can find a brown in my box. Okay, so again, now I would take all of these out of the box and I would have them on a tray so I could see the colors. Or I would turn them, that's what I really should do, is turn them upside down. If I turn them upside down, then I could, so the colors on the bottom of the marker, you see that? That would be way easier to see what colors, right? So I'm flipping them all upside down. But I did this as an open box, so I'm experimenting with you guys live so you can see. So again, when you open it, I would just recommend to them, hey, you guys, when you open the box, have the color on top. But that's okay. So the caps are clear. Well, what would be nice too is then you can put any cap on any one of them. That's a plus. All right, now let me find my tree again. Let's do the bark brown. So again, look at that bristle. So it is a marker looking pen, but it has bristles like a brush for the tip of it. And because these are watercolor, you see that? It's not like a solid. You're going to get a texture look, and you can go over it with water. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of water to that. So you just need a little bit, right? And you can see, you can layer this too. So let's say it's too light, you can always go back into it and put another layer of dark. Right? Maybe you like the texture. Maybe you don't, maybe you leave that texture of the watercolor paper because you know how bark has texture. This would also be like a really fun project to do with texture rubbings on trees and the bark on the tree. How's that? You can leave the background white. Maybe you could put some little people in there. You could do blue. That would be another thing. I could put a little blue in there. Let's find a pretty blue. What do you think? Or should we leave it? It's such a soft, maybe yellow. How about yellow? I think yellow would be better. I was going to do blue, but it's so soft and pretty. This would be fun to do for illustrations, for stories. Write your favorite word on here. So again, the most important thing about these brushes that I find very interesting that I've never seen before is it's a watercolor paint brush with the watercolor already inside of it. So when you color, the bristle, the tip does not stay hard. It just bends with you. So as I'm coloring it in, it's very soft, like bristles on a paintbrush. Cap it tight, right? We don't want anything to dry out. And then if you want, you can put water on it. So I'm going to put a little bit of water on there. And again, maybe you put, you know, a word, a positive phrase, your favorite scripture or psalm, or again, a little poem. How's that? So there you go. So you guys, those, if you use, let me give it to you one more time. Discount code 20% off on these watercolor brush pens through October 1st, 20% off. Okay. So that is this set right here. That's what I used. And it does come with a bunch of five watercolor pieces of paper and your little swatch with all the colors too, right? So there you go. There's a little bit of fun. All right. Now I wanted to show you guys. I wonder if that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, you guys. So I have here watercolor. These are watercolor pads, right? So these are another one of my favorite must-have products. So let's just say, again, with those brushes came your swatch. But what are you going to do when you don't have any more watercolor paper? So I have these books that have beautiful, nice, thick watercolor paper. It's great for yourself or for a classroom, right? It does a beautiful job. Just really, really nice. And this one has 30 sheets in it. You can easily rip them out, okay? And you can use really regular watercolor paint. You can use the brushes that we just used. You can use your own. If you guys ever tried acrylic paint, you can use acrylic paint and add water to it, and it'll be more of a transparent watercolor. Let me show you one I just did. That's watercolor. Okay, so here is one of the ones that I used on watercolor. watercolor, and see how easily it comes out, and it's nice and thick. It didn't go through to the back. It didn't get all bubbly and wavy. So again, very, very nice. So you can use them, of course, horizontal, vertical, whatever you want. Watercolor. So watercolor paint, again, is much more transparent and see-through than an acrylic paint. If you like that look, you guys can always water down acrylic, right? So definitely a great product. And I have the other pad too. I don't think I put it in the cart, but I have not just the watercolor one, but today I was really talking about watercolor. I also have the mixed media one, but I forgot to put it in my cart. But the mixed media one, you guys, is you can use watercolor on that too. It's not as thick. So I use mostly my acrylics in here, and then I use my watercolor paints in this one. So again, it's really, really nice with the watercolor paints. So I want to tell you guys something real quick too. We're going to talk about paintbrushes. All right. Because I have a bunch of paintbrushes, right? Because I am an artist who paints all the time. So I have a lot of paintbrushes. Okay. The first one I want to show you guys is, it depends on how much you want to invest in paintbrushes, right? So this is a really nice set. It comes in a case, and it has the number of the paintbrush on there. So the 12 would be the largest, and it's got an angle. This is very versatile and well made. So I really, really like these for myself. Okay. I would not use this in a classroom. It's not as durable as some of my other brushes, meaning like I don't want 400 kids using these paintbrushes. This is for me, my own personal painting. And again, this is a number 12 in the Lumini. So, and again, you can use watercolor paint, you can use acrylic paint. This is the biggest one, and it's very soft and nice and durable. Just make sure when you're done using it, you never want to leave your brush in the water, okay? Because what happens when it soaks in the water, it loosens up this part that I'm sure there's a real name for it other than this part, but this piece of paintbrush soaking in the water gets loose, and it also makes it fall off sometimes. So I learned the hard way. Again, in the classroom, we had a bunch of paintbrushes and I forgot about them. They were soaking overnight and half of them fell apart. So anyway, after you rinse off your brush, just set it down, and always use a gentle soap when you're washing out the bristles. Okay. But again, never leave it soaking. And again, after learning the hard way, I would just tell the kids, when you let your paintbrush dry after you wash it, leave it with the bristles sticking up. Why do you do that? Because if you leave it in the cup after you wash it, it's going to dry like this, and we don't want that either. So the nice thing about this is they come in all these different sizes. They're labeled by their size, right? So here's an 11. So this one, these are called flat. When you have a square looking brush, these are called flat, okay? And when they're not flat, they're round. So then when you have, and they're all labeled and in order. So this is a 10, right? You get the idea, right? And then this is considered a round brush when you have a point like this. So this is a nice round brush. These are short handled paintbrushes, great for acrylic, great for watercolor, great for tempera if you paint in tempera. And then you have also your little ones too. So these are great for details, for getting in smaller areas, for little lines and details. So again, nice case, right? Great if you I travel a lot too. So I like to bring my paintbrushes with me. This is just a personal set. Again, I would not use this type of paintbrush in a group setting. This is for me, and I like to use it, and they're a very nice brush. So I would definitely recommend those if you are an amateur artist and you like to play, and or not, fun art or fine art. It's up to you. So while I'm talking about paintbrushes, you guys, so So I want to compare, okay? So this is the all-purpose value art brush set, right? This one is much better for like a classroom, a group party, not high quality, okay? I mean, I don't want to call them disposable paintbrushes. They do the job, right? But they're definitely, you know, not as good of a quality brush as the other one. So you can even see, I mean, this would be good, you know, for the background of your canvas, even the background. Where's my bird? Like this. See the birdie here? Like the background here. This would be good for the background on a watercolor. But again, it's not, you know, you're getting 25 brushes in a variety of sizes. They're decent. I would say they're not going to last that long. You know, again, this is maybe for a group project at school where you're doing some fun activities together and you can let the kids use them, and you'll feel the difference too in the hair. They come in a variety of sizes, which is really, really nice. Again, but I don't go making, you know, Vincent van Gogh art piece. These are just great, fun, quick, easy, possibly disposable depending on what you're doing, but very reasonably priced. These are great for Mod Podge. You guys know what Mod Podge is. I should have put some of that in the cart too. One of my favorite products. So these, again, if you're looking for a fun craft for you and your family, your friends, or your classroom, this is something that, again, is probably a couple times to use. Or if you're looking for a variety of sizes, you can do that too. And you'll get a couple uses out of them. But they're, again, if you're really working on a beautiful artwork, I'd probably invest in a little bit more expensive paintbrush. But if you're just doing fun holiday crafts, this is great for you. Or again, if you need a variety of sizes for real simple little projects, this is also a great way to go. 25 brushes, you guys. And you know what? So US Art Supply is actually a really good company. Can you see that? So US Art Supply. So again, this is if you are playing, learning, you want to practice, you want to experiment. This is a great versatile brush set just to experiment with. Let's say that, regardless of your age, okay? So US Art Supply also makes my easels. Now I'm going to show you my easel, even though it's covered in paint. So I am a traveling art party. Let me find my easel on here for you guys. These are all my favorite supplies. Where I know I put my easel on here somewhere. Here, just because I'm talking about US Art Supply. So they also make my easels. These are really, really durable easels. I love these easels. I've had them for a long time. I use them for myself and for my paint parties. So I, you know, travel with them. Look at how, all right, now mine's dirty, okay, because there's acrylic paint on here. So I don't wipe my paint off because I think it adds character to it. This is solid black. You're going to get your easel solid black. It comes in a really nice little case with this drawstring on it. And I don't use the case because, again, it's too much, especially when I have a big party. And it's super easy to use. So usually my paint parties have 30 to 50 people at them. I do a lot of house parties too, but this is how easy it is. So this is how it comes, like this, okay? Very, very durable. The back leg comes out, then it opens up like that. And then these are really good to hold. So this is a table easel, okay? So this comes out, and then these can hold your canvas if it's horizontal. And then if your canvas is vertical, you could put it up like that, right? So it's holding your canvas up. Now, if it's outdoors, which I do outdoor stuff too, you could slip this under the canvas in the back of your, let me see if I have a canvas here. Hold on. Oh, here. They're covered, you guys. I have so many things I want to show you. Here, I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you the neon paint later. But so here's my canvas, right? So here's the easel, here's the canvas. So you can see the little ears would hold and support it. Now, if you're outdoors, you can easily slip your, let's see if I can do this backwards. Oh boy. See how you do that? You slip it underneath the frame and then it holds it in place in case it's windy out. But again, I love these, and yours is not going to be so dirty. What do you do if you don't want to get it dirty? So I have friends who also do paint parties. You know what they do? They cover it with like that painter's tape. They put a strip of that, and then when the artist is painting, it doesn't get dirty. To me, it doesn't matter. I like it. All of mine have paint all over them. I think that makes it fun. Again, I think it adds character. You could tell you're using it, right? All right, so there you go. There's my take on my table easels. Love them. I've had them a long time. They're extremely durable. They do a great job indoor, outdoor. They travel well. They fold up small. They come in a really nice, it has like a drawstring bag, but again, I don't use the bags. I actually donated them. They would be good for schools or, to carry like kids, almost like a pencil pouch thing. Okay, so since I have this one up, I'm going to jump over to my neon paint because I love neon paint. Oh, you know what I forgot is the black canvas. But that's okay. Let's focus on the neon paint. Love this stuff. This is such a fun activity. And I forgot the black canvas, you guys. But look at this. Okay, so it doesn't matter what size you use, but this is glow in the dark neon paint. It comes real little. They're little bottles. All right, let me show you. Look how fun. Yay. Oh my gosh. You guys want to do some glow in the dark paint. You want to do some, add it to like another painting to make it glow. That would be really fun too. And yeah, neon nights. Okay. So there's all these different fun colors, and it doesn't have to be on black. Let me see if I could add black. You guys, I'm going to try to, if you don't know me and you've never watched me before, I am an accidental entrepreneur. And you know what that means? It means I was never online before, okay? Let's see if I can find you guys a good black canvas. How about, there we go. All right, you guys, so just put some black canvas in there. These are different ones that I have, just depends on the size. You can see I have a bunch of different sizes of my black canvas, right? So let's see. Here, I'll do this one first because I like different sizes depending on what I'm making. So I have my smaller version of my jellyfish here, and then my larger version here. I also have, and I'm going to talk about this later. So I also have, which is awesome and fun too, I do a lot of team building, professional development. This is great for, designing. And this one is really cool markers on black canvas as well. And you can do a little design on the side of your canvas. But black canvas is so fun to work on. You would need something extremely opaque, right? So you need a paint that will cover on black, so that these neon paints, you do need a few coats. That's why I did jellyfish, because jellyfish are transparent. This was a school project that I did with some fifth graders, and they actually ordered all the paint. Now, this little set is going to get you pretty far, right? So a class, I would say 4 kids per box. That's what we did. And they used 11 by 14 canvas. But you can use whatever size you want. Pumpkins would be super cute to glow, right? You could do, let's see if I can find it on here. There we go. So these are Neon Nights Glow. All right, so you're going to get 8 of these. And this, again, is going to get you pretty far. So with a class, if you're doing it with a bunch of kids, I would get a couple of them. And I would layer them, okay? So when you guys are doing this, let's do a pink. What do you think? I'm in a pink mood, I guess. And you're going to need paintbrushes. They don't come with paintbrushes, okay? Maybe I'll use my, yeah. All right, so here's what you do. You mix it up. Here's my, see how much I have left in there? So you mix it up. All right, and it's, the first coat is a little transparent. So you can see parts of where I only did one coat. Here, let's go over this one. So here's the second coat. But because it's a jellyfish, it should be a little bit transparent anyway. Right? And you could, as long as you let it dry, whenever you're adding a second coat of paint to anything, you want to let the first coat dry. Otherwise, it won't layer. It has, just like your nails. Do you guys ever paint your fingernails? Well, you have to let the first coat dry before you add the second coat on your nails. And art's the same way. You want to let the first coat of paint dry before you add a second coat. That's a really hard concept for some people because when I'm painting, they want to keep like adding to it. I'm like, you got to go back and leave it alone, let it dry. And they want to keep going over it and over it. So I say, go to another area. Just work on another area. You see that? So that's a second coat. Let me put a little bit in here too. It's pretty, right? Pretty pink. All right, so let's see what other color. I could put a little pink over here too. Let's see, I'll put a little pink in there. You can overlap it. You can add to it. Right? The most fun is to see it glow, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Maybe I'll put a little pink here. Is that enough pink? Am I over pinking it? All right, let's see if I can get it to glow. What do you guys think? Hold on. Can you see it glowing? Is that cool? How cool is that? It's cool for me. Can you imagine kids? But it's really, really fun. And it looks pretty whether it's glowing or not glowing, right? It's just a really cool, fun project. And it doesn't have to be jellyfish. How you guys, how I do those bubbles and the little dots, you take a cap. So I save all my caps to bottles and stuff. And I have a whole bin of little circle caps that are all different sizes. And then I use them for the paint and I dip it in there and then I make the little prints. All right, hold on. Let me turn the light back on. So another thing that I do is, so I use caps for the circles here. So again, I would just dip it in there or I would paint it white and then press to get the circle. And then the little tiny dots, I use a handle of a paintbrush. So I would just use the back handle of the paintbrush and dip and dot and dip and dot and dip and dot and dip and dot. And that's how you get those little tiny dots. So I'm going to put a little bit more pink in here. What do you think? You like neon paint? And you guys can, again, you can add it to a pumpkin. You can even paint it, you know, like maybe outline the pumpkin's eyes, like that pumpkin's eyes are glowing. So super fun project, washes easily off with just, you know, a cup, some water, rinse it off. Have fun. This is fun art, not fine art. Hey, it could be fine art if you want it to be. But that, again, is one of my favorite products. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Let's see what else I can tell you guys about. Let me see if I talked about all my art supplies. All right. You know what I forgot to talk about? What did I do with my tree? So you guys, I have Sharpies in every room of my house, okay? I have Sharpies everywhere and I have them in all sizes. I'm going to tell you my favorite size is the fine point, okay? If you don't have Sharpies, you should. They're great for labeling things, for labeling shoes for kids who lose them at school all the time, or coats, or the collar of your clothing for kids, unless you lose your clothing too. But what I did before when I was doing the watercolor painting, I sketched it out, the tree part out with the black Sharpie. That way it wouldn't bleed in my watercolor painting. So a lot of times, I wonder if I have a canvas here, I'll sketch everything out in a Sharpie. And then that way, when I add the paint or what watercolor, whatever I'm adding to it, it won't bleed. So when I do paint parties, I have one coming up where the whole artwork is traced out. I trace it all ahead of time with Sharpie. I think I have some here. Let me see. I forgot about this. Oh yeah, here's one. Here's a good one. All right, so here's an example. So here's my white canvas, all right, that I already traced out for you guys. So I traced this out in a fine point Sharpie marker, okay? It's all ready to go. This is our autumn campfire with marshmallows. You guys like marshmallows? I like toasted marshmallows. The trick is not to burn them. I don't like a burnt marshmallow. And it's even worse when they catch on fire, right? Like, I don't like flaming marshmallows, but I do like a good toasted marshmallow. So anyway, and I like them on a stick. I don't like them on the store bought. I like a good old fashioned stick. Anyway, sidebar. So this I sketched out with the Sharpie marker. And that way, again, when I'm painting on top of it, it doesn't bleed. So it's all ready to go, whether I'm doing it for myself or I'm doing it in person. Now, the reason why I use the Sharpie and not a pencil, sometimes I want to paint the entire background. So let's just say I wanted to do, I should do it real quick, shouldn't I? But I could show you guys, like I would paint the whole background and I would just go over the entire thing, okay? And it wouldn't smudge. It would just, because it's permanent on there. So I could take a light blue or a purple and do the sky. I'll do it later. I'll come on again, you guys, and show you later. I forgot I had this one. This would be a fun one to paint with you guys. You guys, thank you for following me. I think the follow button is below. But thanks for following me. I'll do this one again another day. You'll get a notification if you follow me that I'm going live with something else. Today, I just wanted to share with you guys some of my favorite products, but we'll do the campfire another day. Sharpies, again, I have them all over the place, but the fine point is the one that I use the most. All right. I have my batteries around here somewhere too. I have batteries everywhere. Oh, here they are, buried under everything else. All right, you guys. What do you go through the most with batteries? Double A, double A, double A. All right, I'm not the neatest person. I also have double A's over here everywhere. So I always have these handy. What is worse than having your remote run out of a battery and then you don't have one? And you're right, and you're like, remember the day? Well, I don't know if you guys even remember this. When we didn't have remote, you had to go up to the TV and turn the volume or switch the channel. Okay, yeah, that's how old I am. I used to have to do that. Well, I would say the most annoying thing to me is when my remote goes out and I need a battery and I don't have one. So now I always have a big bulk supply of batteries. So especially again with everything coming up, flashlights. We had a big storm today. Okay, flashlights need batteries. My remote needs batteries. Maybe your toys. Okay, so just get a big thing of batteries. Have them with you guys, especially for those flashlights. What's worse than a storm and you have no power and then you get your flashlight and it doesn't work? Ugh. Am I the only one that happens to? All right. Here is one of my products I can't live without. Are you ready? Excuse me. I'm sorry, you guys. This is, I have two phones here. I have a tickle. Hold on. So I stream a lot, you guys. and I'm very messy if you couldn't tell already. So I have my OtterBox. I've had other people try to tell me that there's better cases for my phone out there. No, there's not. Not for me. Okay. So my OtterBox, this is the Defender. I've used it for years. No one can get me to switch because I am a bull in a china shop and I drop my phone all the time. I've dropped it on concrete, wood, you name it. I've spilled paint on it. This is my 13 Pro. So this is a little bit of dirt that I haven't washed off yet, but I've dropped it plenty of times. One of my favorite features on this is that it's got the rubber around the outside, right? So again, it protects my iPhone. I better knock on something, but I have never broke any of my iPhones since I've had the Defender. I have a couple phones, you guys, because I stream a lot. Okay, look at this one. I stream a lot. And so this here oops, I can be not savvy. But so here's my Amazon stream. Can you guys see that? That's me. I'm watching you guys, right? This is how I see my carousel. So I can highlight the product. So this is what I have to do while I'm live. Let's see. Here's my OtterBox. Oh, return to live stream. Okay. I'm not great in technology, but I'm getting there. So I was telling you before, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I'm a certified art teacher in Cleveland, Ohio. There. So you guys, I'm watching you here on one of my phones. All right. And here, this is the other one. So this is the OtterBox Defender from my 12. So here's my 12. Again, this is your typical. Now you guys, your OtterBox would probably not look like this, but I do a lot of paint parties and I take everyone's photograph, right? So I'm always painting and then photographing and going live and sharing their artwork or whatever they're creating. This thing has dropped. I flipped in a kayak and it was, thank goodness it was in my pocket and it didn't sink to the bottom of the water, but it did get wet and it was fine. I was so happy, but I've dropped this thing so many times and it is good. So like one of my favorite features is this rubber that goes around the outside, which really is what I think really protects it. So it doesn't bounce, but it doesn't break, right? So this again is awesome. I will tell you that the kids tell me, students tell me,